All right, so I wanted to maybe tackle another object. We've got a pretty good idea now of how this all fits together. In the last video, we grouped this together. Again, if we hit Tab, we go to Edit mode, and then just hit A. Then P is in Paul, and then loose parts. We can separate this, and we can just keep refining this, right? Like, let's go back to object mode. If we select this piece in the front, let's say we wanted to fix this up, Tab, and then just go to edit mode here. We could select this front face here, and we can start tweaking these UVs, right? So let's jump over to UV editor, and again, select these faces. And if you forgot, it's the number 3 to select faces. And then I'm just gonna hold Option or Alt and snap it, right click, and then under, let's see, UV unwrap, I wanna do project from view. And let's take a look. We can kind of, honestly, there's a much better way of doing this where we just kind of select all of these faces here and just kind of unwrap them together. Let's just assume there's no window on that side, but you can add it. And then I'll just right click and then go to UV unwrap ankle based. And then if I hit R in this view and I rotate it, you can see it'll automatically line them up, right? They're all kind of connected, and I could just hit S to scale this. And I'm just sort of eyeballing the size of these planks as they relate to these. And you pretty much have them all unwrapped already. So just wanted to clarify that for you. So we go chunk by chunk. Let's go back to layout here. What I wanted to do in this video, though, is as I mentioned, I want to tackle something a little more advanced. Let's go ahead and make this couch, and I'll show you quickly kind of a cool way to do this. We could do this in its own file by creating a cube and then placing it. But we'll do it sort of where we start off with a cube because it should go underneath this window here. And so let's go ahead and select our box modeling tool here, click, and then just drag up to give us a rough approximation of what the shape of that chair is. And then I'm just going to grab my move tool and then move it off to the side. And what I want to do is contain the chair sort of inside of this cube. So just framing that selection. So let's go ahead and just scale this down for a second. I've got a pretty good idea at the top of my head what it should look like, and you could take a little bit of some creative liberties. So under Object, Viewport Display, there's a color here. And I think we could do turn on wireframe. Let's see, visibility. Yeah, we'll just click this color here, and then we'll take the alpha down. It doesn't look like that worked. Well, let's do this. I'm going to make something off to the side here and just use that as a height reference. So I know that there's a seat, so I'll do that. I'll add a seat here. And then Shift space bar, grab my move tool, just move it up like this. And this is going to be a pretty big seat. If you look at the size of our character here, this guy here, actually we should just group, we really should group this guy all together here. And then bring him over there. See, it looks like I'm getting something else. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm going to hit Control J, and then I'm just going to go to Object, Set Origin to Geometry. And I'm going to place them here, just to scale, the side size that chair. So that the height is there, but it looks like something this guy can actually sit in. So let's scale that down just a little bit like this. Maybe something like this. I think that looks good. And I mean, this chair is massive, but you know, I don't know. We'll have fun with it. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and create a cube that represents this pillar. And then I'm going to press G and then X, or no, Y rather, Shift D. Here, let's try that one more time. Shift D, G, Y, and move this over. And let's Let's hit G and Y and shift this over. And we're actually going to eventually delete this, but you'll see why in a second. So let's go to the front of this. I'm going to drag out another cube going this way. And then let's grab our move tool, Shift D, G, X, move it this way. And then I'm just going to tab, go to edit mode, hit 1, select these faces, G, Z, and then bring it down. And then we could just kind of adjust these a little bit like this. Let's go to object mode. All right, so why am I doing this? Well, they're actually cylinders, right? And I want to show you kind of a trick to creating the cushion and the back of the chair and all that good stuff using the modifier tool, right? To give us sort of like a more rounded thing. Now we could, like I said, honestly, we could delete this, and you know what? Let's do that way just to save time. And I'll just show you how to use the modifier for your seats and the cushion. So let's go ahead and just create a cylinder there. We'll take the vertices down a little bit. It doesn't have to be that crazy. To 12. Same thing. We'll create another one here. We'll make it a little bit less isometric. Another one here. And another one here. And then for the arms, we'll try to draw something like this. And then we'll just rotate it. And we'll just grab our larger tool here, this guy over here, our transform tool. Let's push that in here. Shift D, escape, and just kind of pull it over here. So what was the technique I'm talking about it? Well, we can use a smooth modifier. Let's delete this guy. Shift D, escape, move it over here. And then let's use that smooth modifier to create a cushion in the back. So I'm going to make a box back here. And I'm going to make a cushion for the player, just for the visuals to sit on. So if we go to our modifiers panel, we click on this, and we type smooth, you can see there's a deformer called smooth. And that'll smooth out the edges. Another deformer that smooths it out is if you hit, and I'm looking for my subsurface modifier. Here we go. Here we go, subdivision surface. So on my Mac, it seems to be not mapped to Control 1 or Control 2, but on your PC it should be. And then what this can do is we could smooth these out. And let's make sure we're in object mode. And we want to be on, not instead of simple, we want to be on Catmull Clark. So if we change it to 1, you could see what it did, if I turn this on and off, is it smoothed it out. And if I hit tab and I go to edit mode, you can see that original cube is there. So it's just giving us a visual representation of what it looks like. What's cool about this is we can actually create some really nice smoothed out cubes like this. See that? I can also hit Control R going this way. And now you can see we get a really nice cushion, a thing that looks like a cushion, right? So I'm going to hit Control R again. And then we could play with it. And I actually like to, I'll hit Alt Z here so I can see all the way through. I actually like modeling this way. I'll actually create all of my cubes and stuff like that out of subdivided cushions. And then let's right click on this. Actually, I think we have to do it in object mode. So I'm going to go to tab object mode, right click shade smooth. So there you go. We've made a really nice cushion. Let's do the same thing to this one. I'm going to hit add modifier, and then yeah, it's interesting that I don't see. Let's do subdivision surface, and make sure it's on Catmull, tab edit mode, then Control R, add one this way, Control R, add one this way, Control R, add it this way, Control R. And I'm just going to tab back to object mode, move that forward. And then I'm going to, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to hit Shift D, hit escape, bring that forward. And then I'm just going to rotate that back and scale this in a little bit. And I could change it from, let's see, default here to local, and I can scale, give it a little bit of scale this way. This one we're going to actually take in the sculpting tool and local just changes it so that it faces the local face here. And then let's go ahead and create the legs. So I'm just going to select all of these, hit Shift D, then G, and then Z, and just move them down. And those legs look really high. So I think what I'll do is just kind of see something like this. Move these all the way up here. And then select all of them, hit Tab, go to edit mode, and then Option or Alt Z, so we'll grab all these, hit S and then Z, and then scale them so they're all the same height, and then just move them up a little bit. Then go to Tab, Object Mode, and then I'm just going to grab this guy and these and just shift it over to this ground plane here. Let's make sure this is all on default so that it doesn't get weird like it just was a second ago. And let's make sure this is on 0 on the transform. Let's see. On the location for the, let's see, Z, it should be 0. And then I can grab this chair that we just made and bring it down to the floor. Let's make sure we bring this down as well. And that's your basic block out for your chair. So let's highlight all of this with the exception of that and hit Control and J. And then do Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. And then what we'll look in the next video is essentially how we can texture it so it's like the reference. Now, one problem I have is you notice that because, let me undo that a little bit. Because I grouped it together and I didn't apply these, it didn't maintain that modifier. So actually, let me undo that. Control Z, I undid it a few. And then in the next video, we'll take a look at unwrapping and texturing all of these so that, we can create our chair. And I'm just going through and just selecting ones that need smooth and just selecting shade smooth. Something like this. All right, that's it for this video.